Students, yes, can you hear? Okay, now can you hear it? Okay, fine. A very good afternoon to all. So today we are going across the next kingdom, Kingdom Prodista. Okay, so after the first kingdom we discussed regarding the Monerans. The second is regarding Kingdom Prodista. Okay, so as you are seeing it on the screen, fine. Okay, now in this Kingdom Protista, as we come across the heading Protista, so what does it includes? These Protestants includes all unicellular organisms, and these are eukaryotic. Now here we are coming across what eukaryotic organisms, and so here it includes unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Now as I have quoted you the difference between the prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cell, the basic difference that we have came across the prokaryotic cell, a bacterial cell, is there is no differentiation between the nucleus and the cytoplasm, and the nucleus is not covered by a nuclear envelope. While in the eukaryotes, there is a well differentiated and nuclear envelope. Okay, so that is a basic difference. So these are unicellular. That means all the animals that comes under the kingdom Protista are unicellular only. Okay, so that's why this kingdom it includes only unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Here we are not coming across any of the multicellular organisms. Kingdom Protista, that means the first organisms, proto meaning the first organisms, as they have evolved on the planet Earth, they are unicellular. None of the organisms that are present in this kingdom are multicellular. Fine. So that's why a separate kingdom has been made by R.H. Whitaker. Yes. So unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Yes. Okay, fine. So this is regarding its introductory part. Now, if we look at the classification here, in the classification of the kingdom Protista, what does it includes? Okay, so what does it includes? So let's okay. Okay, fine. Can you see this now? Okay, can you listen my voice? Yes. Okay. Right. So here in the classification of the kingdom Protista, we have these different types of classifications. So first we come across the chrysophytes. Second one is the dinoflagellates. Third one is euglenoids. Fourth one is slime molds. Fifth one is protozoans. Okay. Now the examples that we are going to discuss here in these classes, they are unicellular. They are eukaryotic organisms which are present throughout the globe. Yes, they are present throughout the globe. So that's why they are unicellular eukaryotic organisms where there is a well differentiation between the nucleus as well as the cytoplasm. Okay. Now fine, as far as the chrysophyte is concerned, so let me take these chrysophytes to the next page. Okay, so let me take here and let us go with its examples. So here, if I take out the chrysophytes, these chrysophytes, commonly they are represented by diatoms and golden algae, which are said to be the desmids. So these are examples. Okay, now here diatoms, they are said to be jewels of plant kingdom. They are also said to be jewels of plant kingdom. Okay, now here, yes, chrysophytes, it includes diatoms as well as the golden algae, and the golden algae, they are represented by desmids. Praveen, jewels ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಭರಣ. Jewels ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಭರಣ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Diatoms, common ಆಗಿ ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು jewels of plant kingdom ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Plant kingdom. Why it is said to be plant kingdom? Though it does not belong to kingdom Plantae, it is unicellular, but they are photosynthetic. Varshini, it is photosynthetic. That means it undergoes the process of photosynthesis. Hence, it is also said to be jewels of the plant kingdom because of its shining, glittering nature. Yes, desmids are unicellular organisms. They are photosynthetic, unicellular organisms. Yes, plant-like. Correct, Samar. Okay. So this is chrysophytes. Now, as far as the diatom is concerned, they are present abundant, plenty in a large number in the oceans. Mainly, if we look at their habitat, they are present in both fresh water as well as marine water. ಸಿಹಿ ನೀರು ಒಳಗಡೆನೂ ಇರ್ತಾವು, ಸಮುದ್ರ ನೀರು ಒಳಗಡೆನೂ ಇರ್ತಾವು. They are present in both the habitats. Okay, primarily they are aquatic. Most of the animals that you are going to come across in the kingdom Protista, primarily they are aquatic. Yes, most of these organisms, they are aquatic, found in both fresh water as well as marine water. ಎರಡು ನೀರಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬದುಕುವಂತವು. Okay, so most of the animals are also there here. Now these diatoms, if we look at the diatoms, now let me tell you how does it appears. It appears in this way, as the name says, diatom made up of two atoms. Upper one, lower one. The upper one, this is said to be an epitheca. Upper one, it is said to be an epitheca. Lower one is said to be hypotheca. So epitheca, hypotheca. So how does it appears? It appears in the form of these two units. So these two units are arranged like a soapbox case. It appears like a soapbox. Yes, Shweta, correct. Okay. Now here, yes, Shweta, yes, Balol. Now here we are discussing only regarding it outline classification and few examples. Here we are not discussing the entire chapter. Yes, I am not teaching the lesson. It's a bridge course, your foundational course. Yes, So that's why I'm telling you, when the class will start, we will intimate you. 2 more weeks, your bridge course will be there. Right? Don't get confused. Okay? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು points which are useful for your regular classes. We are discussing only those. Okay? Fine? Right. Now, in the chrysophytes, now we are looking at simple examples of all these. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವೇನು ಏನ್ examples. So that's enough. Okay, I'm not going into much detail of this. So because we are going to the entire detailed account of this in our regular classes. Yes. Okay, fine. Now here diatoms made up of 2 atoms, upper one, lower one, as you can see it in the screen. So upper layer is said to be epitheca, lower layer is said to be hypotheca. Okay, so that's why both together forms into 2 units, hence the name diatoms. Okay, then they are the major producers of the oceans. Which are the major producers? Diatoms are the major producers of the oceans. So diatoms are the chief producers of oceans. Chief means major producers, as these are photosynthetic, they undergo the process of photosynthesis, they will produce their own food. They are the producers. And over millions of years ago, they have multiplied like anything, and they will settle down at the bottom of the seas to form into a type of a earth where we call it as a diatomaceous earth. Okay. ಚೀಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೇಜರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವಲಂಬನೆ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾವ ಆಹಾರಗೋಸ್ಕರ. So they have to depend. Other animals which are present in the marine water, they will depend on the diatoms for their food. So that's why diatoms, their number is a ample, plenty, numerous. Okay, it's present in abundant quantity. Okay, so that is the meaning of the chief producers of the oceans, where lot many aquatic life will depend for food on these diatoms. Okay, so this is one classical examples of the chrysophytes. So with this, let me go to the next one, dinoflagellates. Okay, so chrysophytes, just remember, chrysophytes andre eno antanu antada. They are mainly represented by diatoms and golden algae, where the golden algae, they are named as desmids. Desmids ಅನ್ನುವಂತ organisms ಅವು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ algae ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ yellowish color appearance. ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ದೇರ್ ಕಲರ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋಯಿಶ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಕಾಮನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ as golden algae. ಅಲ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಅಲ್ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಚಿಗಳು, ಅದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತೈತಿ. ಇವಕ್ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥೆಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅವಕ್ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಗೆ ರೀತಿ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಗೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅಕ್ವಾಟಿಕ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಎಸ್, ಸದಾಶಿವ್ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಿರ್ತದಪ್ಪ? ನೀರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬದುಕಿರ್ತದ. ಎಸ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. Primarily they are aquatic. Yes. Okay, right. Now let's go on to the next one. So understood regarding chrysophytes. Outline hint one example for this. Yes. Okay. Yes, a lot of economic importance is also there. I am not discussing about those. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, I am not started with the actual syllabus. I am just giving you an example for all these hints, because you are going to study it very detailed account in the regular part. So dinoflagellates. So let us go for the dinoflagellates and let me quote. Now wherever you want, you can take the snapshot. Don't ask again and again. Okay. So whenever we come across, we finish a page, if you want, you can take the snapshots. Fine. Chrysophyte example a diatom. Okay. Right. Okay. Next one, dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates, we have an example called as Goniolax. Okay, so there is a Goniolax. Now here, if we look at its structure, it appears in this way. So here it appears in this way. Now here we have one flagella. So here we have one flagella. 1, 2. So it consists of how many flagella? 2 flagella. It consists of 2 flagella. Flagella, they are long whip-like structures. They are long whip-like structures. So one is a transverse flagella. This is the transverse flagella. This is the longitudinal flagella. So this is longitudinal. Flagella. And this is the transverse flagella. So as 2 flagella are present, hence we call such type of organisms like Goniolax as dinoflagellates. Okay, dino meaning 2. ಎರಡು flagella ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಒಂದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು longitudinal ಇರ್ತದ. That's why the name dinoflagellates. Best example, dinoflagellates. Usually the color also varies in the dinoflagellates, and they are present primarily in the oceanic water. Yes. Sahana, flagella ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ವಿಪ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವಿಪ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾರ್ಕೋಲ್ ಉದ್ದಿರ್ತಾವಿಲ್ಲೋ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತದ. ಎಸ್, ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ ಇದು ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡತೈತಿ? ಲೋಕೋಮೋಷನ್, ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಓಷನ್ಸ್. ನೀರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮುಂದೆ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಕೈಯು ಕಾಲು ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ಲಾ ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಮೊಟಿಲಿಟಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೋಕೋಮೋಷನ್. ಎಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್. So this is Goniolax. Now the color also varies, and mainly they are present in red color, yellow color, orange color, different colors, out of which red dinoflagellates are more. That's why these red dinoflagellates, they are responsible for red tides. Okay, Bhavna, yes, it is a organism. Ivella jeevi, unicellular, one cell irtada. You cannot see with your naked eyes also. But when they multiply rapidly, what will happen? Then due to their red color appearance, it is due to the pigments present in them. Due to that pigmentation, they appear red in color, and they multiply like anything in the oceans. Samudradag sikabatti multiply ಆಗ್ತಾವ. Multiply ಹಾಕೊಂಡು they will settle at the bottom. As a result, the ocean appears red in color. Then the tides, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲೆಗಳೇನು ಬರ್ತಾವು, ತೆರೆಗಳೇನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾವ, it appears what color? Red color. That's why dinoflagellates are responsible for what type of tides? They are responsible for red tides. Okay. So which organisms are responsible for red tides? And the kedidaga, your answer should be dinoflagellates, the red color dinoflagellates. Okay. And these dinoflagellates also they will release toxins, toxic chemicals, where if the fish eats, then ultimately even that toxin may also kill the fishes. Okay, aquatic animals might be killed, so smaller fishes will be killed, not the larger one. Okay, so this is dinoflagellates. Okay, so shall we move? So first one, chrysophytes. Example, just remember diatoms, dinoflagellates, Goniolax. Let's go to euglenoids. Okay, now let's go to the euglenoids. Class euglenoids. Here we have an example. The best example for the euglenoid is euglena. Now, if we look at the structure of the euglena, it appears in this way. This is a long flagella, and there is one more flagella where it is very short. So this is 1, this is 2. So this is flagella. This is present in water again. So here it has the nucleus. Apart from this, it also has the chloroplast. This is an euglena which is primarily aquatic, present in fresh water, and this may be present in the stagnant water also. Stagnant ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಂತ ನೀರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆನೂ ಬೆಳಿತೈತಿ ಇದು. This may be present in the stagnant water also. This is euglena. Euglena is covered by a layer, a protein layer. This is called as a pellicil. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೆಲಿಸಿಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪೆಲಿಸಿಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Euglena is covered by a proteinaceous layer. It is called as pellicil. Okay, Purvi, I will scroll down. Okay, I will scroll down. Don't worry. Yes, this is pellicil. Then, apart from this, it also consists of chloroplast. This is the chloroplast. Okay, so this is chloroplast. Now, euglenoids are represented by euglena. Diatoms, no, diatoms don't come under the plant kingdom. Plant kingdom ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. Kingdom plant ಏನೇ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. So you have 5 kingdom. We take our 5 kingdom ದಾಗ ನಾವು 2ನೇ kingdom discussion ಮಾಡಕತ್ತೀವಿ. This is not the plant kingdom. Yes, but chlorophyll might be present in them. They possess chloroplast. Green color pigmentation ಇರ್ತತಿ, and they can undergo the process of photosynthesis. Yes, but they are unicellular. None of the plants are unicellular. Okay, all are multicellular. Yes, okay. Now these euglenoids, where they are present, fresh water, or it might be present in the stagnant water. Andra ನಿಂತ ನೀರು ಒಳಗಡೆನೂ ಬೆಳೀತದ. Now this euglena, in presence of sunlight, it undergoes the process of photosynthesis. In absence of sunlight, or when it is deprived of sunlight, it will engulf the food. Andre sunlight ಇದ್ದಾಗ photosynthesis ಮಾಡ್ತದ. In absence of sunlight, sunlight ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುವಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹೊತ್ತು ಆಹಾರಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ, it engulfs the food particle. So outside environment, it is surrounded with the water. It is surrounded with the water, right? Now suppose if the food particle is here, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು food particle ಇತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರ, it will engulf ನುಂಗ್ತದಂತ. ಬದುಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಹಾರ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. Yes, correct. So here, in presence of sunlight, it acts like a plant. In absence of sunlight, it behaves like an animal. That's why this euglena commonly it is called as a plant animal. Euglena is commonly called as a plant animal. Most important statement that we use only for the euglena. Now euglena ಮಾತ್ರ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪದ ಇದು. Yes, here euglena is commonly called as a plant animal because it behaves like a plant, it behaves like an animal. ಎರಡು ರೀತಿ ಹೋಲಿಕೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದ. Sunlight ಇತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ photosynthesis ಮಾಡತೈತಿ. In absence of sunlight, or when if it is deprived of the sunlight, it behaves like an animal by engulfing the food which is present in the water. ನೀರಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಆಹಾರ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಸೇವನೆ ಮಾಡತೈತಿ. ಎದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಸೈಟೋಫಾರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತದ. ಈ ಫ್ಲಾಜೆಲ್ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸೈಟೋಫಾರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ euglena. Okay, regarding the euglena ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ, euglena is present in fresh water, or even it is present in the stagnant water. Then next, euglena acts like a plant, acts like an animal. Why it acts like a plant? Because it is having chloroplast. Why it acts like an animal? Because in absence of sunlight, it eats, it engulfs the food particles which is present throughout its surrounding. ಅದರ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಇರುವಂತ ನೀರಿನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆಹಾರ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಂತದ. That's why it acts like an animal. Hence euglena is commonly called as a plant animal. Euglena is commonly called as plant animal. ಇದು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಇದು ಲಿನಿಯಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ವೇರ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇದಾಗ ಇಡಬೇಕು, ಅನಿಮಲ್ದಾಗ ಇಡಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನು ಅನಿಮಲ್ದಾಗ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ, ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ. ಬಟ್ ವಿಟೇಕರ್ ಬಂದ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇವನು ವಾಪಸ್ ತಿರ್ಗ ಸಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಸೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದ. ಯಾಕೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತದ? ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕವರಿ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್. Due to discovery of the new organisms, yes, classification system goes on changing. Okay, so this is regarding the euglenoids. Okay, let's go to the next one. Next one is the slime molds. So let me move towards the slime mold. Okay, so after that, later on, whoever wants, I'll give you the snapshots. Slime molds. Example for this is Physarum. Physarum. These slime molds, they are commonly called as a saprophytic protistans. So they are called as saprophytic protistans. Why do we call them as saprophytic protistans? This is because they depend on dead and decaying organic matter. They grow on the twigs. ಗಿಡದ ಎಲೆಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಟೊಂಗಿ ಮುರಿದು ಬಿದ್ದಾಗ ಕೊಳಿತಿರ್ತತಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಂದು ಬದುಕುವಂತ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಇವು. ಓಕೆ, so these organisms depend on dead and decaying organic matter. Okay, Soumya, it's not a mushroom. Mushroom fungus ಬರ್ತದ, ಅದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ದಾಗ ಬರ್ತದ, ಮಶ್ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಇವು ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರ. ಓಕೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಲೈಮಿ, ಸ್ಲಿಪರಿ. ಎಸ್ ಅರ್ಪಿತಾ, ಬ್ರಯೋಫೈಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೋ. ಎಸ್, ಇದು ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ ಫೈಸೆರಮ್. ಇವಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಯಾಪ್ರೋಫೈಟಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಟಿಸ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆನ್ dead and decaying organic matter. Yes, Teshwini, red tides is caused by dinoflagellates, red color dinoflagellates. Okay, I'll explain you. Okay, so let us go for the next one. Later on, I'll explain you regarding these terms. Slime molds. Slime molds, they are unicellular. ಏಕಕೋಶಿ ಜೀವಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Yes, now these slime molds, now how do they appear? ಇವು ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತಾವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ, okay, this is one slime mold, this is one slime mold, this is one slime mold. Look at the slime molds, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇರ್ತಾವ. Now all the slime molds, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು slime mold ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ aggregation ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಕೂಡ್ಕೊಂಡು they become into a larger, they cover larger area. How it is, ಇದು ಹೆಂಗ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಡ್ಬರಿ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ, ನಾವು ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಪೋರ್ ಇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಎ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್, ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದ. ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟ್ವಿಗ್ಸ್. ಗಿಡದ ಟೊಂಗಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವು. ಈ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ what do we call? For this entire structure we call it as plasmodium. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರು. ಓಕೆ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಆಫ್ ಮಲೇರಿಯಾ. ಅದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಾಗ ಬರ್ತದ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಟೋಜೋನ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತದ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ, ಇವು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಇವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತವಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ, they aggregate to form into a larger structure. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, this is what is said to be plasmodium, entire structure. ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ದೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಫೀಡ್ ಆನ್ ಡಿಕೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಳೆತ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಟ್ವಿಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್, ಎಲೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಗಿಡದ ಕಾಂಡದ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟೆಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಫೀಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್, ಟ್ವಿಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್. what you need to remember here is slime molds are called as saprophytic protistans because they feed on dead and decaying organic matter. They feed on dead and decaying organic matter. And all will aggregate ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಫೈಸೆರಮ್ಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಸ್ಲೈಮರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ್ತಾವು. ಕೂಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಏನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಣ. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್, ನೀವು ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಬಂದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ನೀವು ಗುಂಪಾಗಿ 100 ಮಂದಿ 1000 ಮಂದಿ ಕೂಡಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹಂಗ ಇದು ಗುಂಪು. ಸ್ಲೈಮೋಡ್ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಎಸ್, ಗಾಟ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್? ಗಾಟ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್? ದೀಸ್ ಫೈಸೆರಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಮೋಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ, ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪಿಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರು. ಎಸ್, when the slime molds aggregate together in the form of cluster, then we call it as plasmodium. ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರ. That's enough. ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್. ಎಸ್, ಸಮರ್ಥ ಮಲೇರಿಯಾ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೋಡಿಯಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. Okay, wait a second, I will come there only. Okay, so let us go to the next one. Last one is a protozoa. Now, protozoa, based on the locomotor structures, based on locomotor structures, these are of 4 types. How many types? 4 types. Okay, so let's see them. First one is amoeboid protozoan. Second one is ciliated protozoan. Third one is a flagellated protozoan. And fourth one is a sporozoan protozoans. Okay, based on which structure? Locomotor structure. These protozoans have been classified into 4 types. Okay, so let us look at the locomotor structures here. Amoeboid protozoan, the locomotor structure is pseudopodia. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವೇನಂತ ಕರೀತೀರಿ? ಮಿಥ್ಯಪಾದ. Ciliated, as the name says, cilia. Locomotor structures are cilia. Flagellated, locomotor structures are whip-like flagella. Whip-like flagella. ಹಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಜೋನ್ದಾಗ locomotor structures ಏನ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ? No locomotor structures. There are no locomotor structures. Okay, so this is regarding their classification, right? Now let me quote you an example for this. You ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. Then we will understand this easily. Okay, now here the examples for this amoeboid protozoan example yaudu? Amoeba. Yes, amoeboid protozoan example ಏನಾಗ್ತದ? So example for the amoeboid protozoan is amoeba. Then one more is there, entamoeba. Amoeba, and one more example is entamoeba, where we also call it as entamoeba histolytica, that causes a disease in the humans called as amoebiasis. Samarth, correct. Entamoeba histolytica, that causes amoebiasis, also called as amoebic dysentery in the humans. Okay, as you know, regarding the amoeba, what is the shape of amoeba? Amoeba shape ಏನು? ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ? What is the shape of amoeba? Yes, Soumya, Jyoti, Anup, Shreya. Yes, Sagar. Yes, Sadashiv, Vikas, Pragati, Aditya, Sangeeta, Manjunath. Very good. Correct. Correct. They don't have any shape. So that's why what we say is the shape is irregular in shape. The shape of the amoeba is irregular. Don't use the word shapeless. Yes, Don't use the word shapeless. Irregular in shape and kariona. The shape of the amoeba is, it is irregular in shape, and the structures that you see, this is pseudopodia. This is pseudopodia. False legs. Pseudopodia, false legs and karitive. Okay, this is amoeba. Amoeba, it does not have a particular shape. That's why we say a term, it is irregular in shape. Then ciliated protozoan, one example. Yes, one example for the ciliated protozoan. Okay, one example for the ciliated protozoan is paramecium. Paramecium. Now, if we look at the paramecium, these paramecium, they have fine hair-like cilia. Okay, fine hair-like cilia, by which it moves, it beats, so it can move easily in water. Primarily, they are aquatic. Okay, and here we have a structure. Here, this structure is called as a gullet. Now gullet and karithi. By its beating action, we call it as a steering. Steering antandra ನೀರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಫುಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅದರ ಗಲೆಟ್ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತದ, then it engulfs the food particle into it. Okay, so this is in case of the paramecium. So paramecium, the locomotor structures are cilia, hair like cilia. Okay, so this is paramecium. Then yes, flagellated. Example, flagellated is trypanosoma. Trypanosoma is a flagellated protozoan where it is spread through an insect called a tsetse fly. Tsetse fly is an insect. If it bites the humans, it causes the disease, and it is mainly carried by tsetse fly. Tsetse antanuantada ಒಂದು insect ada. Other mouth parts ಒಳಗಡೆ trypanosoma ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. If it bites the human, then we get a disease, and that disease is said to be sleeping sickness. Our disease now sleeping sickness ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So sleeping sickness. Okay. Sleeping sickness is caused by trypanosoma, a protozoan parasite that occurs, or we get it through the bite of a fly called a tsetse fly. Yes. Okay. Then sporozoan. Yes. Now here we'll come across the sporozoan. ಈ trypanosoma flagella, long flagella ಇರ್ತದೆ, whip-like flagella ಇರ್ತದೆ. Suppose if this is the trypanosoma, it is having a long whip-like flagella. Okay. Sporozoan, no locomotor structures. Example for this, here we have Plasmodium. Plasmodium vivax, that causes a disease in the humans, which is said to be malaria. So malaria is caused by strains of Plasmodium. So we have different strains of Plasmodium: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae. ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು strains ಅದಾವ, varieties ಅದಾವ, species ಅದಾವ. But generally, the normally occurring Plasmodium species is Plasmodium vivax, that causes a disease, malaria. Now, can you tell me which mosquito spreads malaria? Which mosquito spreads malaria? Yes. Yes. Which mosquito spreads malaria? Name the mosquito that spreads malaria. Yes, we know female, but address no. Anopheles. Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito causes malaria. Okay, fine. So take the snapshot. Later on, I am going to give you an assignment. On the assignment, take the snapshots. Yes, this is the last slide. Okay. Let me move to the next one. Yes. Take the snapshot. Okay, next. So here, okay, this is the first one. Here you can take the second one. Okay, this is the third one. Fourth one. Okay. Now your assignment is okay. Now here you have to write it. Don't post the assignment in the group. Okay. Take the assignment here. Now you have to name those mosquitoes. Name the mosquitoes that causes a disease. I'm going to write the disease here. One is dengue. Second one is chikungunya. Third one is filariasis. Okay. So just try to identify which mosquito causes these diseases: dengue, chikungunya, filariasis. Okay. Yavyava mosquito cause ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅಂತದ try to identify the name of the mosquitoes. Okay. So with this, let us end up our class today. Then we'll meet with a new session tomorrow. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye.